Welcome to Around the Track, the most exciting 15 minutes in wealth management by Dynasty Financial Partners and hosted by CEO Shirl Penney.
Hello, and welcome to another edition of Around the Track, the most exciting 15 minutes in wealth management. And I have to say, I'm personally very excited about this episode because I'm joined by my dear friend, Bruce Lee, who is the founder and CEO of Keebeck, based in Chicago. Bruce, thanks so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's great. Great privilege.
Bruce, when I was thinking about this conversation, just real quick, I have to say, I cannot believe it's been almost 4 years since you launched your RIA Keebeck.
Yeah, it's been a great journey. Obviously, a lot of fun with Dynasty. You guys took a lot of water out of play. And so we kind of ran the course together, if you're going to use the analogy of your track.
All right, well, let's get right into it. Our viewers know the rules. I'll reiterate it for anyone who's seeing this for the first time. We only have 15 minutes to make our way around the track together. I'm going to ask Bruce 8 questions, each one of those representing one of the 8 furlongs that makes up a mile around the track behind us. So let's get after it.
And they're off.
Bruce, as you know, how you break from the gate matters a lot. So let me just throw you a softball here to let's break out of the gate quick. Tell us about Bruce Lee and Keebeck.
Well, Keebeck, in a nutshell, is my Korean name. It means to ascend. It's something that my late father and my mother gave me as a way to remind me that no matter where you're at in life, you need to ascend, which is the name, what Keebeck means in Korean. And so it's a constant reminder of why we're here and what our mission statement is.
That's awesome. A little bit about your background, Bruce, before you launched the business.
Gee whiz, I've been in the business since 1985, literally when the Dow was, I think, like at 1500. Okay, so I've watched the evolution of a lot of products and a lot of thoughts, a lot of crashes, things like that, and watched the evolution become kind of a revolution from the big banks kind of then to the RIA space, and it's been a tremendous journey looking back at a career that goes over 30 years. Seen a lot.
Yeah, that's great. One of the many things that I really enjoy about our interactions is you certainly don't lack passion for this industry, certainly on behalf of your clients, your colleagues, your teammates at Keebeck. But just ask you, as you think about, your business, the team, what you're building now, what are, a couple of things that have you super excited to kind of fly out of the bed in the morning?
What gets me totally jacked, actually, about getting up in the morning is, when you work for a bank, and nothing, disparaging about banks or whatever, it's more about a metric that's driven by assets under management and whatnot. And so the alignment, for lack of better words, of the advisor relative to their client is somewhat in different directions. I get really excited because I believe that at Keebeck, we're very mission driven now. And so when you get up in the morning, it's more of, how am I going to improve my client experience? How am I going to improve the experience of my team? How am I going to, maintain a certain enthusiasm for what we're doing and how do we look into the future? And some of that's known and some of that is unknown. And that unknown part is what gets me really excited.
Yeah, you talk about improve. One of the things that I know you're focused on is that constant improvement, and that ties to my next question. There's a lot of people, perhaps, Bruce, that'll be listening to this conversation that maybe are new CEOs or even contemplating becoming a CEO. And we talk a lot about moving from advisor to CEO, because sometimes some of the skills that make you a great advisor maybe are different than skills that will make you a great CEO. So if you look back over, let's say the last 4 years as you moved into this CEO role at Keebeck, what are some things you maybe learned about yourself, or how would you describe your leadership style and how you look to build your team and your business?
I've often said this to my team. I'll say this to you. I'll say this to any CEO that wants to, take it to the next level. Is don't be afraid to make mistakes. Don't be afraid to fail, but start thinking about what are the common values that you share, and The things that I would say is my style of entrepreneurship or leadership and kind of the why behind it, Cheryl, and to those who are listening and with some intent, is I look at it from, as my own personal CEO, I came up with some tenets that there has to be alignment if we have, kind of a unique access and if there's an edge. And I don't care if it's in investments or in individuals or whatever, I have a tendency to seek that and then pursue that. And when I can get all three in that category, I think that's made me a better CEO. And again, it's taking off those blinders and being unconstrained in that particular philosophy, and then pivoting from there. And I think that's the part. Forget about being a CEO as something to be fearful of. This is kind of an awakening.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Look, you certainly picked an interesting time to launch the business. Thinking back at that first dinner that you and I had when we had decided to work together, neither one of us obviously could have predicted what would happen over the next 4 years with a lot of the global political uncertainty, the pandemic, and a whole host of other things that have happened over that 4-year time frame. What if you, again, as you look back, have there been strengths and or weaknesses that maybe you didn't think about going into this that you now realize either about your team or yourself as a leader and as that team works together?
I think that's a complicated question. I'll answer it very quickly. I rely on the team a lot more today than I did 4 years ago. To be self-effacing about this, when you first get out as an advisor, you're kind of pumped up on kind of an unnatural steroid because we have all these managers saying you're great because you produce so much and so on and so forth. And what you really realize is that if you don't have a team effort in this thing, you're really just going to be a one-trick pony. So, volatility also strengthens, the environment. So I'm actually grateful that we went through all these trials and tribulations, because what it really did was expose my weaknesses and expose the strengths of my team. And I think we work a heck of a lot better together now because of that volatility.
That's great. I know when we get together, we oftentimes talk about issues facing the industry, right? And you're someone who I really go to, who's a student of the space, and you're always thinking a couple steps ahead. What are two-part question, maybe so I can get a 2-for-1 here in this question.
Yeah,
what are some things that you're really excited about within our industry? And then just quickly reverse it, Bruce. What are some things that maybe you're concerned about?
Well, I think, the things that I think I'm very excited about is I believe truthfully that we're on the right side of this transaction, meaning when you think in terms of, again, this is not an indictment of where I came from. It's more of an evolution of where I came from. I think if the big banks could be fiduciaries, they would. They can't. Okay, so the fact that we're on the right side of this, the reason why you're seeing such a movement is there's a big community of advisors out there that really just want to be a great advisor. And so, when they're riddled with all these other issues that distract them from being an excellent advisor, those distractions are awful. And so I think that's the one thing that's really excited to the right side. I think in an odd way, the thing to the left that's kind of scary and daunting is you've got this fintech evolution that's going on. That the secret of that is it seems like it's a race to zero. You know what I mean? Oh, we can do that. We have a digital army. We can go to zero in 5 seconds. That type of thing. And so you have to start thinking about if you're going to propose a fee or a value add, what does that need to look like in the next 3 to 5 years? Because it's not just a clean rinse and repeat. You can't just say, well, I'm a really good advisor. You have to start accepting the changes that are going on in the industry and then start embracing some of that so that you can become a better advisor. And I would say that that's kind of the volatility in between those two confluences, I think is what kind of creates a certain amount of institutional anxiety, at least on my behalf.
Yeah. So on this becoming a better advisor, I know also that you're really focused on, not just for yourself, but for your team, the ongoing professional development, right? Getting better all the time for the benefit of your clients and the betterment of your business. I also know, and you mentioned earlier, and I could see kind of the sparkle in your eye talking about your dad. And I know that you're a big proponent of mentorship. So I just would like to ask the question, whether it's from your dad or other mentors you've had in your life or your career, what are one or two pieces of advice that have really stuck with you over the course of building your career?
First of all, thank you for that. My dad and my family mean a lot to me. So if there's anything to the right of that discussion is, have the courage to be steadfast and be able to maintain a certain stability in your life so that you can kind of, weather the storms for that matter. I would say too, something Shirl, you and I have talked about offline many times. I've discounted health a lot, you go out and entertain so much, you kind of lose track of that. I think health is wealth, and so really worked on a regimen where, I think about, creating more mental capacity by becoming healthier as an individual. And I think third of all, I think, the concept of, how we're bringing this all together is, as far as influencing and mentoring and so on and so forth, I got to tell you, my staff is, the people that work with me are primarily younger, and I've learned a lot from them. I really have. They're just so much better than I am regarding, what mission means, what aspirational thinking means. I was a meathead. I just walked in, I'm like, okay, what are we going to do today? How many assets are we going to bring in? And to hear these kids talk about kind of their future and what they're looking for from an aspirational perspective has really helped me develop as a person.
Yeah, no, that's great. So look, we're turning for home now. So we're headed towards the home stretch. Just
I'm tired.
Yeah. Yeah. Now is where we have to really
Okay.
dig in. Look, you and I've had conversations also about, the art of war, right? The battle is won before the first shot is taken, and kind of beginning with the end in mind. And if you start from that mindset to say, at the end, what do I want my clients to say about me, right? Imagine all your clients are together at, some event and you're not there, right? So that's the culmination of the years of service and commitment and everything that you've done on their behalf. What do you hope that those clients are saying to each other about you and Keebeck?
I would like them to say you built a hell of an organization. I think, again, part of the problem when you come out of a bank to an RIA is, you're more singularly focused as an individual when you're coming from a bank. And when you go into your own firm, you become woefully aware of, building your brand, for lack of a better word. So I would love the name Keebeck to survive me and be emblematic of our team. I keep talking about team because without there's no leveraging points. So what they're saying about me, and I've heard this before, is, man, your team is so great. What are you doing? The fintech that you're bringing on is so fantastic. So I would really love to be known as the patriarch of a business that embraced innovation, embraced teamwork, and collaborative thinking, and then have some form of mission based, based on my name, meaning to ascend, so that, that they feel that they're part of something really special. And so that's why we work so hard beyond the profit. We talk a little bit about impact before profit, is that we're trying to be a brand that lasts for a long time. And that's a lot harder than you think.
Yeah, I love it. And I get it. Look, part of why we named Dynasty, which people thought that's awful bold to name a new company Dynasty. We wanted it to mean winning consistently over time, multi-generational, and very much similar to what you said, Bruce. I wanted it to be, a business that would far outlive me, as the original founder of the business. So personally, I can relate a lot to what you just said. So maybe then that leads into the last question I have for you. And look, this is the time of year within racing that everyone's gearing up for the Triple Crown. And they're getting ready for the Kentucky Derby, obviously, which is the first leg of that Triple Crown. And that is a culmination in large part of so many people's career, whether it's the trainer, the jockey, it's the dream of every owner, everyone, the grooms, the whole team, everyone is working together for this amazing common goal that for most feels like it's just quite out of reach, but they still continue to run really hard towards it. So as our last question was, I want to ask you, what is your Kentucky Derby? What is your Triple Crown? What is that big goal, whether it's personally or professionally, that is going to require maximum effort, some luck, the team aligning, that you're going to run hard towards? What does that look like for Bruce Lee?
Wow. Okay. Well, I would be less than genuine if I didn't tell you that there was some metric of performance. So, winning getting the award of the Barons, so on and so forth, accolade as an independent meant a lot to me. So a scorecard does matter to a certain degree. But what happens when you get that scorecard? Let's say you win the Triple Crown, right? We get, billions of dollars under management. We have a great offering. We know what we're doing. Who do you share that with? You not only share it with your team, but who's around you when you win the Kentucky Derby, when you win the Masters, when you win any of these, you bring your family. And with some emotion, that would be my Triple Crown. Not only did we succeed as a firm, we succeed as a brand. And at the end of the day, when we win the race, my kids are proud of me. Well, my wife is proud of me. And then shared with that is the team. And not only that, the biggest responsibility I've always felt in starting the RA, and Shirl, this when we first started, I wasn't so concerned about actually Keebeck. I was really concerned, oh my goodness, there's people here with their kids and so on and so forth. So if we're surrounded by that family and that network of people after we win, that'd be a great accomplishment to me. The high five, the high fives of the people who love you and are around you, know how much hard work you put in. Sure, I see posts often about when I see you happiest is when you're with your kids and your lovely wife. It's after a big accolade is won. That to me would be my Triple Crown.
That's great. I appreciate that. The one other group that you didn't mention, but I know you think about them often, and I'm going to highlight, is your friends. And I'm fortunate enough to call you not only a client and someone that I work for and with, but we're also friends. And I can tell you on behalf of your friends, we're proud of you as well. What you guys have done in a short period of time at Keebeck is very inspiring, and I can't wait to see what the next 4 years bring. And we're very proud of being able to continue to support you at Dynasty. So Bruce, I want to say thank you so much for joining us. And also I want to say thank you to all of you for tuning in again for another edition of Around the Track.